For centuries, mankind has told stories about people who have the ability to perform feats that require extraordinary physical strength. But why are we so fascinated by these superhuman characters?
We love stories about humans that push the boundaries of exceptionalism. And history is full of this kind of folk hero, who is stronger than any other human. We have characters like Hercules, who are half god. That's the source of his strength. There's someone like Samson from the Bible, whose hair gives him strength beyond what a normal human might have. And nowadays we have superheroes. Batman, Spider-Man, characters who similarly are human, but a little bit better than other humans. All these stories let us talk about the possibilities of human endurance and human capability. How far can we push ourselves? How much faster and stronger can we be?
Talcott, West Virginia. Here at the foot of the Allegheny Mountains lies a decommissioned railroad tunnel known as the Great Bend Tunnel. According to folklore, this was the site of a famous legend from the 1870s about a superhuman railroad worker named John Henry.
The legend is that John Henry was 6'6", 280 pounds, muscular, solid, glistening. You could see him half a mile away. The legend has it that he was born in enslavement, and he had all these goals for his family coming out of enslavement. And he says, I want a good job, I want to provide for my family. And he saw the Casino Railroad laying track. And John Henry shows up and says, I'm your guy. The fable has it that any man who signed up to work would get 50 acres of land if they completed the railroad. Then sometimes this railroad had to be completed through a mountain. And so John Henry not simply laid the railroad track, but he had to drive a stake into the rock, which creates enough space to then load dynamite. John Henry was the best steel driver. And then here comes a man with a steam drill. The legend speaks of this race taking place between John Henry and the machine.
As the story goes, there was a competition between John Henry and the machine to see which of them could drill farthest into the side of the mountain in a single day. During the contest, the strength of John Henry was reportedly so powerful that the blows from his twin sledgehammers shook the mountain itself.
The story is that the steam drill only went 9 feet, John Henry went 14. And so John Henry is superhuman and more supreme than the machine.
John Henry beats the machine in this competition, but he passes away. He dies of a heart attack. He dies from overexertion. And what we have here is John Henry begins to symbolize this overpowering physique of a muscle man and the ability to achieve in the face of extreme odds.
The legend of John Henry represents this black man, this hero, who did superhuman feats from the 19th century. It overshadows the harshness of the Reconstruction period, but it also shows us how black men who were able-bodied, who had that spirit of willing to do anything they needed to do to provide for their families.
Most of us know about John Henry from a literary work. Like so many folk heroes from the same time period in American history, Paul Bunyan, Joe Magarac, Pecos Bill, they are all compatriots of John Henry in this larger-than-life, super capable American folk hero model. And what they capture is the spirit of industry that our nation so badly wanted to embody and project to the rest of the world at this point in history.
The legend of John Henry's battle against the steam drill was first immortalized in an African-American folk ballad. And since then, the inspirational story has also been celebrated numerous times in magazines, plays, and books.
Another superhuman feat of John Henry is that he was able to inspire so many. And so whether it's inspiring in terms of actually working on the railroad or other industries, John Henry was a beacon of that. Also in terms of him losing his life, that's a sacrifice that those who came after him could appreciate as they strived to be as good as John Henry.
There also is an overlap, certainly with John Henry and superheroes. In the early 1990s, Superman passed away, and that set up a situation for the comic book version of John Henry to come in and save the day. As the character of Steel, in order to save the citizens of Metropolis, he builds a suit encased in steel and carries, of all things, would you believe it, a sledgehammer. And that speaks to kind of like the reinterpretation of John Henry within the framework of the superhero Afrofuturistic sci-fi version.
The idea that John Henry is a superhero, standing firmly in that space of post-enslavement and Reconstruction, is really phenomenal. The legend of John Henry proves that human strength is inherent in all of us.